All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast number 11 with Cancer7. Cancer7, would you briefly introduce yourself just to get people to know who you are to a little extent?
Yeah, so I'm Cancer7 or C7, and basically I am a Olympus leader and a long time Ironman, I guess, in the community. Been playing Ironman. I think I made it in like 2016 or something.
Were you a hardcore? Or were you just iron?
No, I never was. I
Okay.
think I made it 4 months before Hardcore was released. And at that point, I was really casual, so I was like, I really don't care whether I become or like remade
Yeah.
a hardcore. It like didn't interest me at the time.
Yeah.
I thought the progress that I had in like the 4 or 6 months or whatever I played was a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Reasonably, it was like rune gloves,
God
but
damn it. That's how I
that,
felt about my first like hardcore. So like my first hardcore, people know like it was banned for auto clicking. But
yeah.
it was heartbreaking, man, because I was like, I'm pretty sure I was like 50 days into it, and I was like, there's no way I could ever remake this progress. Like, there's no way. It's just too much time played, too many things, and now here we
Wait,
are.
is Sae Bae that account a hardcore as well?
Yeah, so Sae Bae was my remake
Oh,
technically.
okay.
So, and I never thought I'd get to the point of my last hardcore, which is like sad to think now, but yeah. So you started around the time Winter Todd came out, correct?
Yeah, I can remember. I don't even think I had the Winter Todd requirement when it came out. I feel like I didn't even have 50. That's how like I guess there was no point to train fire for that, like that point.
Yeah. There's a little uh stoppage thing in your mic. You were cut out like twice, just briefly.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
just making sure. I'm pretty sure it's on
I'm
your
gonna
end.
adjust the
So
sensitivity.
okay.
There we go.
So I have a couple questions. First thing is somebody asks. Well, let me just make sure. Like, let's get who we. Max on Twitter asks, "Why is your IGN cancer?"
Uh yeah, so I would say nothing too special with that. It's just kind of I was on TeamSpeak with friends at some point, and I didn't really care what my online alias was. And I was like, what should I change it to? And one of them had a friend who on Xbox had the name Cancer7, and he suggested it basically. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I changed it to like Iron Space Cancer7. And then I I just never changed it. Got rid of the iron part, and then I got really lucky with it. And I was like, well, I can't change this name. I got really lucky with it.
Nice. So that's literally it. There's no like deep origins or anything.
No, yeah, that's like that's basically it. It was just suggested and never cared enough to really change it, go away from it.
Nice. Okay, so you are a leader in Olympus. Let me see how to like phrase this. So, when did Olympus first start, and were you a part of Olympus initially when it was created? And
So
then
yeah,
I have some other questions after, but yeah.
it started like September or November or September or October of 2018, I think. And I initially joined um maybe like a week after its creation. I like posted on the forum and got in. Um at that point I didn't even join CC. I think I had like three messages in the Discord for the first 6 months of being in. It wasn't it wasn't until the first bingo that I actually like became active in the Discord. Otherwise, I was in Olympus at that point, but you know, not actually.
Okay. What was the thing that made you want to join Olympus, and were you in a clan previous?
Yeah, so I was in solitary previously, and I think that was at that point that was the only Ironman clan that really existed, other than like the Reddit CCs.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I wanted to join Olympus because it wasn't just based around like bossing and the gear you had, which solitary was, like rank wise. I wanted to do different stuff in the game, like maxing and not just bossing for my ranks.
Yeah, you were pretty similar, I feel like, because I was also in solitary. I don't remember if I was in solitary when you were, though. Yeah, you might have like just had joined Olympus when I joined solitary, probably.
Yeah, I think I was in solitary when it like became a thing, and then whenever they stopped their like no multi-clanning rule, I
Yeah.
basically left.
So I know we like shouldn't touch so much on like, drama and stuff because I know there's been drama between those two CCs. Um but I'm actually kind of curious. I don't know if you're like totally cool discussing it, but what was um well, first of all, I want to like kind of talk about Erudite. So some people listening probably heard of Erudite beforehand. Were you a part of Erudite?
I was a Smiley for a little bit at one
Okay.
point.
So you've been in all of
Um,
these like Iron Man clans, like starting up. Because wasn't Erudite probably like the first
that's true. That definitely was the first.
like high level, I guess,
Yeah,
clan?
and that one was way more skilling than PVM.
Yeah. So
Uh,
what was
I
the
know there was a
yeah.
lot of drama with that. I don't actually know a lot of the drama with Erudite.
I know Vaddy did when I was talking to him. He kind of explained it a little bit. Actually, I don't know if it
Yeah,
was in the Sae Bae Cast or it was actually like in one of his rambles where he talked about it, but
I know
um
he's got a good vid. It's like something about like a big vid about Erudite, like the fall of
yeah.
Erudite or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, that's what it was called. Um, what was the reasoning behind, like, just briefly, what was the reasoning behind Arid or Solitary not wanting to like have their members multi-clan, or it was like specifically with Olympus, correct? Was it just a fallout between leaders?
I
I guess.
think it had to be. Well, their reasoning was we introduced it not just being EHP to rank up. So basically, if you had a lot of EHB, then your total hours could, take precedent and rank you up, which is how it is now.
Yeah,
And they, I guess, Berto was okay when it was just a skilling clan. Uh, but as soon as the PVM aspect started to, be introduced into the ranks, he he thought it like was too similar.
okay,
I I don't know how much of that was that and not just kind of there was a lot of beef as well,
yeah,
obviously.
I assumed. What are your thoughts on like multi-clanning? Do you think it's healthy, or do you think it's actually like fine that clans make rules where there's no multi-clanning?
I honestly don't see it as that bad. I mean, the whole point to me of being in the clan is doing events and just, you know, playing the game with people. I don't see why being under this name should restrict you from doing that. Like, if you're in solitary, why can't you join our bingos if you want to play a comp, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't get why not or being in this clan would restrict you from playing
yeah.
some sort of like competition that you want to be in.
So you say you were in Erudite first, and I'm assuming just you were probably like pretty early on your account, relatively. But then joining solitary, and I'm assuming that was before Olympus was out. Were you actually PVM based at the time, or were you always sort of like very well rounded and you kind of wanted that from Olympus? Like, were you like set on one aspect of the game at any time?
I was definitely focused on PVM uh, near the start of my account. Didn't really. I think I thought I would never even max. It got to the point though, like just playing kind of consistently over the years, that max sort of just happened. I feel like you play long enough, even if you're PVM based, that you just hit.
Yeah.
I think I hit like 2,200 total, and I'm like, well, like at this point, I might as well just finish it.
I guess we can kind of just go into a little topic I have personally, um, kind of regarding that, where Ironman literally just you play enough and you play sort of like the Ironman. I don't know how to say it, but there's like a specified route almost that Ironmen take. It's just get your base levels up, get quest cape, get your Dragon Warhammer, do raids,
Yeah,
do TOB, and then like max pretty much.
it it's
Uh,
just like,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like max just passively happens somehow.
So what do you think? Like, because obviously PVM has a huge part in giving you enough like resources to max. Like, do you think? Obviously, that's just how the game is. But do you think that, like, in your opinion, that it's healthy that bosses in RuneScape give so much like resources? Like, what are
I
your thoughts?
I don't think it's like a bad thing. Like, if if we had to get all of our resources just from actually doing the skills, I feel like it would be a lot more boring.
Oh,
I
100% it would.
I don't think it should be as dominated as it is right now, because like the whole 38K warpath probably never needed to be a thing.
Yeah.
I think that's just straight up too powerful, but it's also to like nerf it at this point is silly.
Yeah. I feel like they're doing a pretty I feel like the updates coming out are actually gonna kind of help with that, like the Serb update, making it. I know like
Yeah.
there's obviously people saying that making it a demon is an issue, but I think that will actually lighten the load of how much Vorkath you need to do. I know it's not as much GP, but it's a lot of prayer. And I'm trying to think of like what else Serb. I haven't killed Serb in a year probably, but I know it gives like orbs and stuff and dragon
I
bones.
think GP got easier because of Sepulcher as well. I don't know. I think Vorkath, I'm not sure what Wukek said, but I feel like at one point he said you don't have to kill as many because of, especially with this prayer update coming through.
Oh
It's
yeah.
you must have to kill a lot less compared to the past with Sepulcher GP and the prayer XP that you're getting.
So
That
like what are irons gonna do now? Like, because efficient Ironmen will barrage their necreals. Are they planning on just banking the ash that they get there, or is like melee necreals gonna become a thing? Do you know?
I think it depends. I know there's a lot of talk. It depends on how the spell works, whether like how much time you lose using the spell inside, like meleeing them.
Oh, like if you're stalled or something,
Yeah,
or okay. Hopefully there isn't a stall. I know there's a 5 tick delay before you can cast it. If there's an actual stall where you have to like stand there, that'll be
yeah.
obnoxious.
Then that'll really suck.
Yeah.
I know that a few like efficient Ironmen are fans of meleeing their necreals because they've done like zero zone.
I'm a fan of the melee necks. Well, first of all, I don't have an alt that I like lure with in the first place,
Yeah,
so I
then
love
it's
tower
probably
necks.
super good.
I'm still butthurt that they didn't fix the priff, like the Prif dungeon neck reels. They're literally greater neck reels that you have to like melee basically because it's in single combat. It's the worst. It's literally the worst dungeon. It's
Let's
bad.
see. I was that where the dark beasts are.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was necros in there.
There's 2 rooms. I think there's 2 rooms of neck reels, and they literally had pulled if they would change one of the rooms to like a normal neck reels because there's greater ones. Dude, greater ones like fuck you up. They can hit. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they can hit like 20s on you, and they're really like they're pretty accurate if you don't have prayers up. And like you can bring a cannon into that dungeon, but it's like so not worth it because they're like they're just so tanky. They're just massive. I don't know. It's so annoying.
Cannonballs suck as well, though, mate.
Oh yeah. There's been talk of like them coming out with either like tick manipulatable cannonballs or I don't know if I literally can't even remember if I was the one that thought of this or somebody in my chat, but there was kind of talk of like making gold bars into golden cannonballs. And like you could basically like convert them instantly, but
Yeah.
they would deal like very minimal damage, but they would just be like a method of like luring stuff.
Luring.
Basically. Yeah.
I know Dids has made like you know, a suggestion to combat Slayer ulting that just make a better way of getting cannonballs kind of to offset not being able to ult.
Yeah. Because it's pretty bad right now. Dids comes out with a lot of good method or just a lot of good ideas, honestly. I'm glad his day alt method. I know it's not like perfectly the way that it was supposed to be in
Yeah.
his eyes, but I think they did a pretty good job.
I think it turned out pretty decent. They like asked for input and numbers and then just completely disregarded
Yeah, they do
what
that.
was said from us, but
I'm just
pretty much the same on the sand. I think sand
oh,
was his idea as well.
Sandals fucked up, I heard.
Like it was just both of them, like the numbers to make it in the right spot were just straight given to them, and they just like, oh, well, we'll use these numbers.
I wonder if they like talk in different discords about that stuff because like I exclusively in my mind think all they're talking to is like high level Ironman, but I wonder if they're talking to like the LLC or like what numbers do you guys want, and then they make like a balance of it. They're like, yeah, give us like 200k crafting XP.
I just thought it was weird because it was like his idea,
Yeah,
and he made the idea,
and
making it
he
balanced,
balanced it. Yeah,
and like who knows how to balance it more than the highest ranking people that'll use it.
yep.
Just seems weird to make it almost. I think it came out. Did it come out weaker and then stronger? I don't remember how
Dale
sand worked.
or the sand. I
I
literally
think
can't
Dale
remember.
was just weaker.
Yeah, Dayalt. They made like they made like 3 separate buffs to it, but 2 of the
Yeah,
buffs were
true.
just like them making the respawn timer longer and more consistent, and the other one was just raising the XP by 1, the mining XP, which should have literally like stayed the same. Like the mining XP was never the issue. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm still happy that if you want to be like, I don't know, like I'm not actually sure what's the most efficient. I'm pretty sure it is to 1.5 tick day out. Obviously, that's so much more effort, but like,
Yeah.
if that's the meta, that's still cool that they've come out with like day alt being a meta to something. It's actually pretty crazy when you think about like that Sins of the Father quest really did like it brought out 2 pretty huge metas, like changing, Sepulcher and day alt.
I think Dale is just beast for replacing redwoods. It's
It's
just
so good.
the like static 1 minute
Yeah,
is just huge
I know.
for being able to AFK, and you just get so many like more hours out of it.
Yeah. No, it's I think that's way better than redwoods. Obviously, like you would. I always think of wood cutting. Like I relate wood cutting with construction because I just love like Fossil Island trees, and I love the teleport to your house, talk to your butler, repeat 1.5 tick the trees and repeat. I love that construction method of getting planks. So like redwoods and stuff have never really appealed to me, and just other forms of wood cutting. And it's really nice having that day out there because for Ironman, AFKing day out's like pretty sure that shit's like zero point 0.6 EHP, like, and it's brain dead.
Yeah,
It
it's
might
pretty
even be
good.
zero point 0.7, but yeah. So I think they did really well. The only thing I want is I want clue geodes from it. Let me get my occasional clue geodes in that game because we get clues from redwoods. Why not there? You know. So it's my only
The
gripe,
clue blessings.
dude. Clue blessings, man. Hell yeah.
Dale clue blessings.
No, that's just for RC. Come on, man. Dude, I don't know why, man. I'm trying to like obviously if for those that don't know what he's talking about, I had this method or I had this new suggestion where you can wear these little blessings and you get little perks from rune crafting. Now, they weren't people just assumed you would just get these blessings like for free. It was just basically like given to you. Like they would have to come from somewhere. That's kind of like the big thing. They'd
Yeah.
probably be worth something or just untradeable. But yeah, there was 3 blessings. Blessing of time, blessing of plenty, I think, and blessing of luck. And one of them would help with basically your like rune crafting, and one of them would help with getting clues. Like you would actually be able to get clues from rune crafting, similar to like because I honestly think of rune crafting as a gatherer skill. I know it's not technically a gatherer, but it like kind of is. And like obviously it can be paid for with mains, but I don't think if you're paying like 24 bill as a main, it would even affect you in any way. But yeah,
Probably not.
then there's
Well, maybe one of them like just buffed something about the S XP, right?
yeah, no, the blessing of time, if you wore that, you would basically be getting like 5% more XP over time. It was either 5 or 10. I think it was just 5% more XP. I don't think I buffed it too hard, but I would need to review it. But it was basically a blessing because like yes, it would be an overall buff to runecrafting. It's not supposed to just stay the same. Like my whole idea is not to just keep runecrafting the same. There would be a buff to it, but these blessings wouldn't just come from nothing. So that obviously that blessing would be a buff to runecrafting, just similar to like an outfit. But the other one was like a 50%. You would basically lose XP. Like you would lose 10% XP to get 50% more runes. And that one would have been really good for like I don't know, whenever the blood altar comes out. Yeah, like you could literally well, you couldn't use these blessings at Sae runecrafting. That was the thing. They wouldn't work with like the dense essence blocks. That's just simply my own hatred towards Sae. That was my own little perk. You can't use it there. You can only use it at traditional altars, but yeah. Little idea, probably. I come out with these ideas just to like, I almost do it.
Clay dolls.
Yeah, like I almost do it just to like humor myself, just to see like the reaction from people, because like more than anything, I like to kind of see where the community's at with.
I think my favorite
space.
is like the Lumbridge Swamp. What is it? It's like some sort of fishing, cave fishing.
Probably what were they called? I came out with 2 of them. I can't
It's
even
like
remember what they're called.
1.5 tick cave slime or some shit. I was like
2.67 tick. That was
2.67 tick.
yeah.
That one.
Cave.
It just sounds funny.
Like that. Now I mean, you can just 2-tick that place, but I like to. Most of the methods that I've come out with have been like most of them. There's obviously some that use alts, but like most of them you can just do them with one player. So because I remember Port Khazard, like after I posted, I was like, why don't you just 2-tick them? I was like, well, at that point, like, oh, it's mainly for like literally snowflakes. I just like coming out with these methods that have just never been. Because I will literally search on YouTube for like methods before I even post them, and like before I even do them, just to see if they're already on there. But
Yeah.
like, there's got to be some snowflakes, in the future that are going to be like, oh shit, this is like actually beast for me. But yeah, that
Lumbridge Swamp only Ironman.
literally, yeah. Can I don't know if you watch much YouTube, like RuneScape YouTube. Have you seen Limpwort's new series, the One Chunk Extreme Iron
I have
Man?
not. The only like those types I watch is Impling only,
I've never
and
heard of that.
obviously the Swampletic one. Oh, Impling only. That's straight up your street. It's like clues only.
Yeah, what's that? Impling only? What the hell? What
Yeah.
is so he only catches imps, that's it.
Yeah.
And then does he
It's
have to get like the clue
so
requirements?
the rules are they're all over the place, but I think the idea is you can only use Impling base stuff, but she also uses or like trains whatever she wants. I don't.
Oh, it's a girl?
Yeah,
Oh shit. Okay, you're gonna have to
it's
link that to me. Now I'm interested.
it's a good series. I think it's the my favorite Snowflake series. We always group watch it.
That's cool. Yeah, Limports is pretty extreme. He killed, might have heard, he killed 500,000 men and women in Lumbridge just for his first chunk.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see the video. I just heard of that actual.
Yeah, it got pretty big. He's gained
And I
like
was like, well,
he gained like 20K subs in like a few days because it just blew up.
that just can't be fun. There's
I'm
just
like,
no way.
you know what's interesting? I'm actually curious now because I was seriously wondering. I was like, there's no way this video just took a week to make. Like, you can't kill 500,000 men in a week. But because that's when like the videos are coming out. But it looked like his latest video said something along the lines of he's been working on this for like 2 years or something like
Yeah.
that. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, is he really just been actually doing this for 2 years and he's only released like 3 videos? I don't know. I'll need some like fact checking on that, but
Surely he had to be playing something on the side. Like, if he's just attacking men for
yeah.
500,000.
It's a cool watch though. I mean, he's pretty funny and like I don't really watch YouTube series, like being completely transparent. I used to watch like cuz I made my hardcore on release, I used to watch a bunch of hardcore series. And then as soon as I lost that first hardcore Ironman account, I just burnt out from like watching series. They made me mad because I wasn't like being able to participate almost. And so I kind of like dropped off like watching series, but I've kind of
Yeah, I
gotten a little bit
definitely
back into it.
watched a ton when I was a noob. It was really like informational to
Yeah.
like when I didn't know anything. I made a main account when old school was released, and then I it got to like 30 combat and I never played again. And then so the iron was basically my first account, and
Oh
I
shit.
didn't really know anything. So YouTube series, I kind of just like I know DVS. I watched every episode in his first Irons Maxing one,
Yeah. No, those
and
are like
just kind of followed,
yeah.
picked up on a few things he did.
I used to watch TVS with his hardcore stuff. And it was just it felt at the time like this guy he knows what he's doing. Well, at the time, remember. He
Yeah,
knows what he's doing and like he felt like relatable, almost like he wasn't too elite or anything. He just felt like he just played a lot kind of. And yeah. I remember watching DVS. I watched a friend a lot too when he first started his hardcore. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I literally haven't watched anything from a friend in like
I think he's doing like
2 years.
RS3 now.
Yikes.
RS3 hardcore, maybe.
Yeah, it does not interest me in the slightest.
Yeah, that game's a maze.
Yeah, literally. It's like an eyesore, man. That's why I'm kind of nervous. I know there's been like talk of, I don't even know if it'll ever happen because I'm pretty sure old school, like JMods have literally said they'll never release HD graphics. But there's been talk of like getting this game to have HD graphics. It would be optional, obviously. But
Yeah.
there's something about it that just kind of irks me. Just like, it's not that big of a deal. But the fact that now, like, stuff I get to watch on YouTube of OSRS, everyone's going to be playing on the shitty HD. So I do have to see it. It's like, you just know every single person's going to be using it. And it's just going to almost feel like two separate games at that point. Like, it's the same game, but like, you're going to be watching Twitch and half the streams are going to have this HD bullshit. It's just like, ugh.
They already like tried to make a client for it, right? And then I feel like at one point a friend had some video on a HD client, and then everyone using it was getting flagged for botting or something.
I think, yeah, there was something back in the day. I know there's one guy that's making like a super crazy HD client just on his own. Like I don't even think
Yeah.
he's like expecting it to be released or anything, but it's pretty crazy. I saw a little like trailer thing on his Twitch. Like it must have been like half a year or a year ago at this point, but
Was he in like the Grand Tree at one point, like at the top? I can
I know he was
sort of
at
remember like,
Barbarian Fishing, like the waterfall. I remember
okay.
seeing around there. I don't know if that was the same video. But it's almost just like it like looks really cool, but there's no way you would actually play like that, like efficiently. You know, it's just like for looks. It's almost just like a setting to turn on, look at how cool the game looks, and then turn it off. That's always how. That's like that. I don't know if you ever played Roller Coaster Tycoon, but like, or Age of Empires, for example. Like going from 2 to 3 is like such a huge jump. Like the graphics just get so much better. It literally, the only reason I'd play it is just to look at it because I used to play those kind of games when I was a kid. But I'd always end up going back to like the simple graphics because they're just easier to play.
I just think a game like this doesn't need those kind of graphics. Like it's fairly simple mechanic wise, just like point and click.
Oh yeah, no,
It
I'm with
maybe
you.
it'd be different if it was like WASD movement based, but I don't know. I don't see it needing good graphics. I don't. Maybe it'll draw in new people, but everyone who's playing right now is playing for the game, not the graphics, obviously.
Well,
Because
not everyone. There's a bunch of Reddit people we forget about. Yeah.
that's true. Well, you think the Reddit people are they only will play it if it looks better? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying like they definitely have strong opinions. They just want it because I don't even know, man. There's like the low level community, man. They will just, dude. I read something yesterday on Reddit, on the '07 Scape Reddit. It was bad, man. It was basically like, let me try to think of what it was. It was just some post that got a shit ton of upvotes, like 1,000 probably. Basically trying to make skilling not boring and
Okay, yeah, I seen that.
make like everything. It almost sounds like, because I've heard these things before where it's like make every skill a mini game, like Winter Todd and Fishing Todd. Like they,
Yeah, they said it didn't scale well. Like
yeah,
skilling doesn't
yes, that
scale
was it.
well.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the one. The scaling. I'm
And
like,
they use like motherload
I
as the
know.
example. It was like you get 28K at level 50 and only 40K at 99.
I know. It was painful, man. And the reason it's so painful is so many people are like behind it. I'm like, God damn it, dude. This is not good.
Yeah, that's painful.
Yeah.
Under the same, I think the same person had, it was a Tome of Water buff, and they made like, the infographic with the RuneScape yellow text. And one of them, it's like buff water spells, maybe ice spells as well, 50% accuracy. And then in parentheses, maybe 100% accuracy.
Dude,
And it was just like, what?
I'm getting to the point. I've always loved like the crystal armor idea and the crystal bow. In
Yeah.
fact, I was previously an advocate of getting it slightly buffed, but now I'm just actually opposed to it completely because of Reddit posts I've seen where people they literally took like an excerpt out of the OSRS blog where they're talking about equipment rebalancing and literally took the numbers from them saying like Jagex said that a crystal bow to match the current blowpipe with dragon darts would need to be like 50% damage, like extra damage and like 50% extra accuracy or 40% or something like that. And some post got like a shit ton of upvotes saying, "Why don't we just make the crystal bow have 50% more damage and shit?" Like, God, man. Like now I'm against like even touching crystal armor because it's like, dude, they were trying to prove a point as saying like this is overwhelmingly powerful if we did this, and like that's why we're nerfing the blowpipe. Now they just want like an alternate blowpipe, and there's already been like ideas to like make it non-degradable, so it's basically crystal bow is just going to be this unstoppable weapon eventually, and I feel like it might actually start getting pulled soon.
There's just no reason for it to be super strong.
There isn't, and that's why things need to get like slightly toned down because everyone relates. Like they are seriously comparing, and I think the Tebow needs a nerf. I already talked about it, but they compare everything to the highest tier of weapon, and I agree that the highest tier of weapons need to be slightly nerfed. But seriously, they'll relate everything with just a Tebow or a or like a DHCB against Vorkath or something. Like just stuff that's like actually so busted already. They'll compare it to that and be like, we need to balance it around this. It's like actually disgusting.
The craziest thing about like these balancing coming up to me was it seemed like they almost balanced off GE value.
They balance everything off price.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
Like they
I
justify Tebow and Scythe at their strength because they're expensive.
it's so it's such a shitty argument, but everyone just goes behind it. And the thing is, I haven't even like thought enough to counter argument, like to have a counter argument to that. So I just like, but I know it's like just a stupid argument to just compare every single thing to the current price. It would be like changing dwarf weeds. Oh, dwarf weeds are cheap. Let's make them have a shittier potion. The ranging pots
Yeah.
are too strong. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that is simply because Jagex has come out with way too many dwarf weeds shit out by like chambers and stuff. You can't compare things directly just to price exclusively. But that's how the community is seeing it, at least on Reddit. It's really bad.
Because like Chambers, it just gives you the GE value, right?
Yeah, that was
Of a
exactly the
certain amount,
reason.
and then it throws 6,000
Yep.
dwarf weeds at you because you had 50k points
Yep.
because they're worth nothing.
Such a dumb scaling. They could have
Yeah.
like seriously made it so herbs scale simply off their level. You'd probably get a lot more Renars, but that would be a good drop. But like, or scales off like the actual herb level, like the how high tier of the herb they are. Because dwarf weeds, I was watching a cold one last night, and he did like one of those 1+6 raids. He got like 700 dwarf weeds afterward. Just like, dude, that is just completely useless. And they become cheaper and cheaper because of shit like this, where like you shit them out so much, you're directly like making the problem worse by
Huh.
having these high tier herbs just have literally just tank in value.
I'm just waiting for the new dwarf weed secondary.
Wonder what it'll be. I really wish that those bastion pots didn't use cadentines. I wish they used dwarf weeds. Cause
It's like weird that they do.
like I understand why they use cadentines, but it's like, okay, let me make these potions, get rid of more of my wines that are already like a finite resource, and then still have a bunch of dwarf weeds. Yeah, I wonder what they'll come out with
I
if
mean,
they
I
ever do.
guess at least the Wildy wine place isn't as bad. Like previously, it was just getting wines didn't make sense.
Yeah. Is that
You
efficient, by the
just
way? That like deep telly
honestly, I don't
grabbing?
know. I'm sure it's not bad.
Yeah.
like just basing off high efficient Ironmen have done it. So
Yeah.
that's that's where I'm basing my it probably is just because they give you a lot of XP per herb. So
Yeah. And
as long as you're
the
not dying.
yeah, and like you literally just get so many of those herbs. They're just zero time herbs basically. Um all right. I have a couple questions from Champions Cape on Twitter.
Okay.
He wants to get your thoughts on Iron Man alting. Everyone's already heard my thoughts on it, but what are your thoughts?
I don't think it ever should have existed, but I think I don't like removing stuff that people have already abused to a point after a certain amount. Stuff like smokes, they've tried to fix it like 3 times now and failed. And catacomb splashing, I feel like they'll just fuck up as well.
Yeah.
Maybe even mess up alting for mains, which would be funny, but
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's been people bringing up points about, I mean, very small, like minority of people that at least I hear that are like vocal about it. But there's even people against alting for mains that I've been hearing recently, which I never even considered. I don't play a main, but like there's actually people that have brought up, points that like even alting's kind of affected the main game. It always seems to come from people that don't alt, obviously. Like that would
yeah.
obviously be where it's coming from. So it's the same like it's the same reason why like it's almost I don't know. It's like me just like not being for Iron Man alting. It like I don't have enough like whatever the word is. Um Me not alting basically is kind of like disproving my point in a way. It's almost like, oh, you don't alt, so you don't get a say basically. But it's like I'm not wording that correctly, but it would be almost better if I did Iron Man alt and then
And
I
then
was against it.
talked about it.
Yeah,
Just because people say you're only against it because you
yeah,
might be too lazy to do it, or
yep,
yeah, I would rather not do it. Like I'm gonna do it because it's more efficient, and I feel like if I'm slaying, I'm like I feel like I'm losing time by not doing it
yeah. You're losing
in the
tons of
time that I'm
time.
playing.
Yep. No,
And
it's disgusting. Some of the places you literally will
yeah,
lose double, even sometimes
I mean
triple. Like
like corp, it's just
stupid.
if you do corp, like if you have a corp ball and you're not using it, you're crazy.
Yeah, it saves so much time.
I think the people that like make their own corp alt, I almost feel like that's completely fine. Like the effort that they put in to make that.
Is it simply because it's an Iron Man? Because
Yeah.
BC Guppy brought up this point as well, and I disagree with it. That
Okay.
like I agree that obviously it's respectable to make your another account to it, but I still feel like it should not be like allowed in a solo game mode. But he even went on to say what if you just made a main account, like, because then it just goes against everything. It's just like, oh well, you took the effort to have a main account that's now helping you splash with Slayer and
Yeah.
helping you with literally every single thing in the game. But then the argument is, oh well, they spent time making that account, but like I don't know. So you think it's fine though, in a way, like you would. So let me get this right. You would be okay. Actually, no, no, no. Explain to me. So, would at this point, because it's been out for so long, Iron Man alting, would you be okay if it was not a thing anymore? If they took a stance against it?
No, I would want to keep it at this point.
Okay.
I think I'm a big believer in if it's been out long enough and it creates too much of a gap between players that have abused it, that it, unless they compromise in some way, it just hurts people who haven't abused it too much, which might be the wrong thinking, but personally, that's like how I feel. That's
Interesting.
since this player wasn't at the point where they could do it, but this player started first. Which I mean, that's it's been in the game.
Yeah.
Like the first month of winter Todd loot. Like if you
Yep.
abuse that,
No, that's
you
that's
you just
why
got so much.
that's why I just oppose. I can disagree because I remember Dids was complaining about birdhouse runs giving like those eggs to get that evil chicken outfit because they're trying to pull to get that into the game, and he's mad that he already finished all his bird runs. So it's like he basically got scammed out of all these years doing bird runs consistently. But it happens with everything. The Vork or the Zulrah nerf was huge. People that abused it got so much more like
Yeah.
out of it. And it goes both ways though, like blowpipe nerf. And I am actually a firm believer of it's never too late for things. I would
Okay.
actually be very curious if there was actually a thing, if there was actually like an update that I kind of opposed, and I would almost think it was too late because every single thing I've kind of opposed, I always think it's not too late to fix it. And I simply just look at it because, yeah, you can say, it's been out for 6 years or something, but, 6 years from now, oh, it's been out for 12 years. Now it's too late. We should have fixed it 6 years ago. It's almost like there's just this infinite amount of like time that can pass. And it's like, I always just feel like there is a point where you can just say enough is enough, fix it. And I don't know. That's, I would like to have somebody challenge that for me because I like to see other people's points of view. That's why I like these Sae Bae casts where I can talk to you guys and see your guys' points of view. I was listening to the Lug and Juke and Bubsy ramble that they made a couple days ago. They
Yep.
have a lot of points where I don't agree on, but at the same time, it's cool to hear that, like their thought process behind it all, because it makes me like empathize a little bit with it.
I just like that it makes this like Slayer skill more like if you put more effort, then you get more out of it as well.
Is it more effort though?
Uh,
Because that's the argument now I've kind of come to see is okay. I've never actually Slayer alted. I've had a couple people when I did jellies and stuff come and like splash for me, and it could be like I could see it as a little bit more effort. Simply having two clients open kind of makes things just a little bit more hectic.
yeah.
But like your Iron Man just standing there and you just click occasionally, I almost feel like it's less effort. But you tell me.
So as compared to
As
what,
compared to
just like
me
tagging them
me
with darts
darting
and then
around trying to be efficient, getting them darted and then not trying to move so much, like just trying to get them like in a pile as quick as possible. I feel like that's a lot more effort and a lot more tedious than just having
probably,
one account trident them over.
yeah. Hmm. I think at least Smoke Devils like I don't know, I've never like tagged them with darts. And since you can't get cannons, that task would be
Yeah,
like the difference between alt and no alt that Smoke seems
it's
huge.
pretty huge. And I have a cannon, and alting is still significantly better than me with a significant amount of cannonballs.
I know like Dust Devils I am swapping to not alting because those things just die too fast.
Yeah. It's just simply, I guess, food for thought because I don't believe that I am like, I have the superior like argument or anything. I seriously want to get other people's opinions. But what I've heard over the past month or so is that, or what I've kind of gathered is that, at least to me, I don't actually think alting is more effort. I think it's actually equal effort or even a little bit less effort than what it is, like the tediousness of doing things alone. That is a lot of effort, and it's just awful. I'll admit it's awful. Like, it is so
Yeah.
awful being in the catacombs, darting your own necreals, and then running around a million times trying to get them to like stay in a pile, and then repeating it like 30 seconds later, the whole task.
Yeah,
So
to me, like it just feels bad.
yeah, and it's not
Like
good gameplay. It's not fun
yeah,
gameplay. And but so I might go on a tangent here because people relate everything to current metas where it's the same thing with gold. It's the same thing with just smithing skill in general. People are so like they hate shop hopping for gold. It's the
yeah,
absolute worst. They hate the ultimate Ironman method even because there's they might like it, but because there's competition in like stocks, they just hate it. But then the people I've talked to, like they want something different, but they want it to completely compete with those rates, like be competitive with those rates. Where I would almost just flat out say nerf it, and the people that abused it, so what? There's always going to be some sort of abuse. Like there's always going to be some people that took advantage of something. It might be like I think of Dids. You know, he has 200 mil prayer. He's one of the guys that just took advantage of that altar as quick as possible. You know, where if it ever did get nerfed, which I highly doubt it, it would be like people would be like, wow, he got to abuse that, you know, and I didn't have enough bones at the time to abuse it. But like trying to come out with a method. So me thinking I want Ironman alting to not be a thing anymore. They don't need to make arbitrary limits on like splashing and how mechanics work with bosses. They would just say it's now like a de-ironable offense if you are, you know, theoretically, you know, if this somehow passed, like if this somehow was an integrity change. I'm not saying it will. Who knows what Jagex will even do? But if I'm just saying, like theoretically, if this happened, like they really shouldn't. I'm not trying to like pass a thing that would compete with those rates. It would just be a nerf, basically, and that's simply how it would be put. It's just that's a nerf. It sucks, but like they could make like they could make like cannonballs faster to smith. They could make like alleviation almost to make it a little bit easier. But you know, I don't want, for example, going back to smithing, I don't want them to just come out with a mini game, a smithing mini game that gives 400k smithing XP an hour or 350k, just simply to balance it around the current meta. Just like don't do that.
Are you against gold packs?
I'm against Shopscape. Like I'm against like the reason the skill sucks so bad is because Shopscape's a thing. They don't need to get rid of it, but I already came out with an idea making it so ores, like gold ore, if you mine a gold rock somewhere in the game, it is the most tedious. You're just sitting there for like potentially 30 seconds before you get the gold. Potentially. Obviously it can be quicker, but they should make it so gold is as easy to mine as granite is. So you can basically 3-tick gold. It wouldn't be as much XP. Let's, say 90k XP mining an hour, and you're banking gold ore. So those two skills now coincide. It's not just do granite, buy gold, They could actually almost coexist together in perfect harmony and have like a great effective smithing rate. Probably be even close to 300k smithing XP if you like just saw all this gold stacking up in your bank from mining at 90 to 100k XP an hour, Like that's an idea of mine that I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be. I mean, it sounds decent. I agree with going to do granite, and then it has nothing to do with the skill that actually relates to it.
Yep.
It just seems kind of weird.
Yep. And those are like ways of making smithing, like of creating a thing that so you don't need to buy gold. That's not that it can still be the meta. It's similar to like crafting, how it used to just be hop charters over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like you can still do that, but now they've come out with, giant seaweed and sand, which is kind of overpowered. But
Yeah, I think it's too strong,
yeah,
but
it is too
I
strong.
think it's a sweet like idea.
Yeah. And that's what I think about like the gold mining. And don't make it a goddamn mini game. They already tried that with Volcano. Here's passive gold ore doing this shit mini game that they ruined. I don't know what your thoughts are on Volcano. Have you done Volcano?
I have.
Do you like it?
No, it's like boring.
It's
It
so awful, dude.
like it's just like a get the seeds and get out of there.
Yeah, I only have one seed. I really want to get the last two, but it's just the worst. But they try to do these mini games, and it's just, I'm just, it's my opinion, I guess. I'm against mini games. Mini games, I love mini games. I don't like mini games where they become efficient for skilling. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I think like Winter Todd was always too strong. It
yeah,
just
it's busted, especially
it
with the
kind of just deleted that skill.
yeah. It's, who burns logs on an Ironman anymore? Like it would have
The
been cool.
redwood gatherers,
Yeah,
the 1.5 tick redwooders.
burn the logs up there. I'm glad you can burn the logs up there.
We in the last bingo, someone Lydia Kenny had 300k redwoods banked and just G fire make the whole time during the
Jesus.
comp.
So what is that, like 540k XP now or something?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Dropped like the 60 mil fire make or some shit during the
Damn.
10-day comp.
He's a beast. Seriously. Um.
I know
Yeah.
like Gliss likes 1.5 tick redwoods as well.
Yeah. I like that Gliss likes that. He was asking me a little bit about it, and then I'm just glad people, because it actually is kind of a fun, especially if you hate Winter Todd. Like it's actually pretty comparable to like typical Winter Todd. Obviously, Winter Todd can be super overpowered if you're using like the hop method.
Yeah, I think that's gone though.
Yeah, the scouting, the Winter Todd Scouter has been
That
gone
was
off Twitch.
pretty strong.
It's yeah. I actually enjoyed Winter Todd at that point because it was pretty engaging and it was
Yeah.
just really good. Yeah. I mean, you could still do it. You just need to have your own alts, I guess.
Yeah, and most people aren't gonna
I'm not. Yep.
put that effort in. Just like at that point, you're at Winter Todd just to kind semi chill out,
Yeah.
not have four alts logged in and scouting the HPs.
I wonder if he'll be back. Sager was his name. Because I know his accounts got banned for like macroing.
Yeah, I assume that's how that
Yeah.
scouting system works. But
All right. There's just so much to discuss about that whole reworking skills to not be so awful like that. I could go on for hours, but we'll move on. Possible buff ideas for armor weapons, if he has any off the top of his head. Do you have any ideas of like maybe potential Raids 3 rewards that you would like to see come into the game?
yeah, I've been pitching this new prayer, and a lot of people have, and I think it's fucking awful, but it's protect from all styles, okay?
Okay.
But 50% reduction,
Okay.
and I don't think it serves a purpose, really.
Okay, so it's
But
just like a lazy
what do you
man's
think of
like
it? Yeah.
what level would it be?
Oh, I got no idea.
Like it would be higher though than everything else? Like would it be above 77, do you think, or would it just be right above Prey Melee?
Like around the prayer, because like
Okay.
I just think for a noob it would be good. Like that isn't gonna swap their prayers at some places where the like damage source changes.
Yeah. That's actually a really interesting idea. I've never heard of that. I know there's going to be arguments saying, "Oh, that's going to make people dumber, like that's going to make people lazier and just never." And then eventually like, that prayer will start being buffed potentially. I could see arguments like that, like people are going to be addicted to that prayer and they're going to want it to be like 75% or something. Um, that's a very like I'm just thinking of Nightmare right now because I've been so
Yeah,
invested in that place.
like the nightmare, it would be kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Now you got a point. There are niche uses where it'd actually be like good.
It's like maybe Verzik, but
Yeah.
for like some, I don't know.
It's a
Like it would
yeah,
suck at
it's
Verzik if you
so
know what you're doing. But
I'm kind of okay now that you say, the Nightmare alt. It's almost encouraging alting even further, so I'm a little bit against that because that's all the like the only niche uses I can see are like for an account that's helping you that you don't want to put any effort into.
yeah, basically.
It's an interesting idea though.
And I think it'd be good at like Ohm because it can just swap at any point. I don't know if it'd be good.
Yeah,
Does Ohm
no.
just randomly swap? I don't
It's a
even
one in
remember.
four. It's a 1 in 4 chance it switches.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's pretty shit then.
So it would be all right, but yeah, it would just be better to just count or just basically hope that the 1 in 4 averages out to enough. Because yeah, 1 in 4, like you would need basically like 75% reduction if you wanted it to be like better.
Yeah. Someone said it'd be good at Addy Dragons. You know, Addy
True.
Drags.
I would still pray mage though because you're just wearing like metal armor basically. But yeah, no, there actually are, and I'm thinking of where's that other? Yeah, I'm just trying to think of other places. Huh. That's an interesting idea. Like, I don't know how I feel
I
about
don't
it.
think it would be a raids 3. I just because I
It
don't
would just be a
really
simple like
see,
noob prayer.
or it'd be like a preserve, right?
Yeah.
Level. Like it's no augury or rigor
Yeah.
level of strength because
I mean, it could also be good if you're a noob in the wilderness. You're getting attacked by
that's true.
PKers. Just turn that prayer on. But, well, obviously prayers work different in the wilderness. It's only what's a 40% reduction. So it'd only be
Yeah, I
a
think so.
20% for all of them. Yeah. That's an
Which I
interesting
think
idea.
someone that can't swap their prayers in time between eating and running still pretty good.
Yeah. No, that's actually kind of cool. I would need to hear other people's thoughts on it and especially arguments against it because there's probably oversights we're just not even looking at, but kind of interesting prayer. I want that judgment prayer to come out. You remember when they were trying to pull that? Or
Is that
trying to
like more
It was
damage?
just
You deal
accuracy.
more? Oh, okay.
It was specifically an accuracy prayer that would be like 40% accuracy, but there's no strength to it.
They
So
were just
it's
worried about like Warhammer or
No, that's
something,
exactly
if
what
I
it would be
remember.
used for, and there would be a raids 3 prayer where for more effort to switch your prayer from piety to judgment, that little bit of effort, and a pretty high cost of having judgment prayer as I think it was in level 85 as well prayer.
Oh, okay. So it'd be like a rare drop there. Be
Yeah,
like a
and like there is a downside to it. Like it's not just a buffed piety. You would get no strength bonus out of it. So your Warhammer, even though you're probably hitting a little bit more often, you're not hitting as high. So it's like there still is a DPS like downside in a way. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure it would still be better. But yeah, it's just to like yeah, I mean, obviously it's power creep in a certain way. I don't know if it was 40% or 50% accuracy. It would have to be like at least like significantly better than using piety because that strength bonus you get, was it like 23% or something? That's kind of huge. And so losing all that just for more accuracy is like balanced, I think. I want judgment.
Yeah, I don't think it's there was always like an overhead you could swap to that made you take more damage and deal more.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
that
Wasn't
might have
that?
been so long ago that I
I
heard about
I
that. That's what I thought you were
I almost
talking
want to
about.
say that judgment prayer was an overhead. Actually, now that you
Okay.
say that, that's so interesting because I actually it sounds familiar. Yeah, it wouldn't be an overhead. That's not my idea of it, but I think that actually was part of the proposal. Um, I also want the ring of spec. I've taken a little bit more time into thinking about it.
What would that do?
A ring of
Like
spec,
how much?
it would be it basically it's a ring. So you couldn't wear a berserker ring. It's a ring you put on where your natural spec regen goes from 10% to 20%. Like so every 30 seconds it would increase to 20 instead of just 10. And the other passive perk to this ring is if you have the ring equipped, your spec can go up to 120 as its cap, basically. But it wouldn't work in PvP like scenarios. So, and if you, let's say you had the ring equipped, and you used like your Ornate pool, as long as you have the ring equipped, then your spec would regen up to 120 every time you drink that pool too. But as soon as you take that ring off, it instantly goes back down to 100. So like you couldn't do these like berserker ring switches and shit like that. Like if you wanted to sweat, you would either just have to choose that ring or not.
Okay.
What do you
Do you
think?
think the pool should have? I mean, I think it seems maybe too strong with the pool. I think the pool in general is too strong.
The pool
Like
is fucking busted.
bosses that you just go to your pool and then teleport there is, I think that is maybe the worst design I've ever seen.
The cool thing is about that is there are very few situations now where that pool is actually like, I don't even think the pool's ever meta in like any boss. I think it's Narda teleport would be better. And even that, the only place I can even think where you're using Narda over and over is Zulrah. And like that's assuming you have like unlimited scrolls to go back to, because like people don't use the pool at Sire anymore. People just do that like mage method where you just blood barrage the thingies and stay there. So
You think the pool should have charges?
I think the pool should have always had charges. I
Yeah,
haven't.
you got to like refill it.
Yep.
And I always thought you should have had to refill it.
I even was offering to make it so that you pay your butler. So every time you drink it, it's a gold sink. You pay your
Okay.
butler GP for him to just keep it filled, basically. So it wouldn't actually be a potion sink. It would just simply be a gold sink, which I think would be a little bit more balanced. I know it wouldn't make as much sense, but like I would be fine with either. I think it is extremely OP, but then they would have to look at the Narda teleport because then that would be just way too OP, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when the pool was like a huge before that Narda, the Desert Ammy 4 buff, the pool was extremely busted, and I was always advocating for them to make it either a gold sink or yeah, just charge more potions into it. Yeah.
It'd be cool to see.
POH is pretty busted. Imagine they pulled so you could have a bank in your POH. A bank chest. You're just always in your fucking house.
Just never see anyone anymore.
You know. Yeah.
You'd like see them at the locations, but
Dude, I wish mains could go into Ironman POHs.
what would they do?
Nothing. Just look. Like I just wish that was a thing. It's so like pointless. I mean, it would just be kind of cool just to, if you're getting maxed or something, you can actually have people, if you're maxing your iron, you could actually have people come to your house. Even if Iron Men could come to your house, they just couldn't use anything. Like if everything was just off limits, couldn't use portals or anything.
Yeah, probably like wouldn't hurt. They just kind of felt like why when they made it. And it was probably easier to just say this account type can't.
Yeah. No, they even said that they were saying that like there was too many, like there could be so many oversights to construction because there's so many rooms and so many ways to abuse it.
Yeah.
So they just decided no. But they're gonna have to do something with Group Iron Man when that comes out.
True.
I really hope Group Iron Man has a shared POH. I think that'd be amazing.
That I didn't think about that. It sounds like
Work. Or what do you
yeah,
think?
a lot of work, but cool.
I think it would be so cool is if you're like, let's just say you're all doing corp or something. You go to your house and you all see each other in your house. And you're just using the pool over and over and shit. Like, I don't know. I just think it's a really cool little perk that they could add. It'd probably take some weird ass coding, I'm assuming, because it's an instance. But like, they're gonna have to do a bunch of things to group Iron Man anyway. So,
Are you gonna do that?
group Iron Man.
Yeah.
I might for entertainment's sake, but I would never invest. Like, I would play it very casually. I feel like, and it would just be like with content creators, probably like me and Fat Clouds duoing or some bullshit, and then just burn out after like a month when the hype dies down or something.
Just, I don't know. I don't think I could ever be bothered to play that seriously. Like maybe with a group of friends, just PVM focus and mess around. But
yeah, it would have to be. I'm too like addicted to my current account to even like think of spending a ton of time in a different one. And I don't like multi-logging either. I would multi-log if I played a group Iron Man. First of all, it would be extremely casual because I have way too many plans for this account to do like Syracuse and stuff. But seriously, I would just I'd camp this account probably at like day alt or something, just the whole time, just stack up a fuck ton, like never have to worry about it again. But yeah, I can't even see myself do that because I'm so addicted to clues. It would feel like a waste of time. Just the whole thing feels like a waste of time, but could be cool because I like refreshed high scores. I kind of like the fresh competition. It sounds fun.
I feel like, do you think it would be based by group or by individual on the group high scores?
I think they said something where it's like it would go off your combined total level.
Okay.
So
I think that's better.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Otherwise, it's just feeding one player, and it'd be so. That'd suck.
Yeah, high scores go off. There would be like 4 different sections. So there'd be it would be like group Iron Man, and there'd be like 2-man, 3-man, 4-man, 5-man.
Okay.
And then each one would go off the combined total. So like, if you had a maxed 5-man team, it would be like 12,000 or like even close to like 13,000 total, or what would it be? 12,000 something total level would be it. Whatever 2277 times 5 is, but yeah.
Having like 4 categories, man, it just seems separated. The competition of it will be so bad.
Yeah. No, it's very like just silly in a way.
Like even looking at like hardcore and ultimate high scores, it's like there's like 6 people trying, maybe 5.
Yeah. I still think it's a cool idea. I feel like one of the things they would have to do is like if that was an issue, like I don't feel like it's that big of an issue. It's really silly that there's just gonna be a million high scores. Like that that alone is kind of silly. But if they wanted to not make it like that, they would have to just say group Iron Man is 4-mans, like, or something like that. Just have it one team size. Like this is the team size. But I think it's cool to have the variation of 2 through 5. So,
or just like regardless of team size, like if you pick 2,
you would just be not in the high scores. Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
like you just couldn't compete.
You're not going for the high scores.
Yeah, interesting. So 5-mans would just have to be the efficient, competitive.
If you cared about high scores, yeah. Which, like, how many are actually caring about high scores? The teams that are going for it.
I personally would, but who knows? I know. Yeah. Well, I mean, leagues.
Like the casuals definitely wouldn't, and that's the majority of people that I feel want group Iron Man.
That's true.
Just like Redditors.
That's true. I wonder how boss high scores would go, because if it's a team thing, would it just be combined boss KCs of all you guys?
So like go up by 5. Kill a bandos and it goes up by 5.
No, I mean it would just go off of your total, like, because like if one person's being fed, it would just be whatever that total is. But like if you all had a certain amount of bandos KC, it would just combine it all and that would be your group. Also, I wonder if
Okay.
it's I wonder if you're gonna like be able to name your group, or if it's just gonna be like the name of the leader of the group or something for the high scores.
It would be cool if you could make a personalized name.
Yeah, like a little clan name or something. I'm excited for those halls that they're coming out with the clan rework. They're coming out with these halls where like there's actually a space, like an instance where your whole clan can like be in this like little like room together, like in the game, like this little like hall where you can like sit down and like have like actual in-game like kind of like reunions almost, you know. But like I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. It's very like XP waste, but it's like it's still kind of cool. But it wouldn't just be to like group up. There would be like a bank there and stuff too. So like your clan could
Okay.
have bank standing skills together, you know.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
seems better.
Yeah.
I remember the old RS3 one where there was like a town hall almost with seats,
Really.
and it
So
was
I
there
didn't play
was
RS3 at the time, so
yeah, there's well, like the giant citadels, right? You had to
I've heard of them.
mine and chop to get your favor up for the week, or people had like ults for it, and then you
Mm.
could upgrade your citadel because of it.
Was it
Yeah, I
clan? Like
remember. Yeah,
okay.
they were like based off clan, and as a kid, like the clan I was in had like weekly meetings where you went to that little building, and like thinking nowadays, like I'd be like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to some in-game
Meeting.
weekly
Yeah.
sit at a on a bench and they type in game. I'm like, I don't even know how I did that as
It was cool. Like it was fun to role play as a kid.
yeah.
Like I
But like
roll, dude. Back in 2006, I think. I used to do a bunch of like house parties, and there was this one like friend I made who would host these like hotel um house parties, and so they basically like made their house look like a little hotel, and where you like have like rooms and like room service and stuff. And like I got hired for like 20K GP an hour to like be a basically like a servant and just go around and like ask them if like guests want anything and shit, dude. Like I look at it now, I'm like, God, that was so
man,
cringe. But at the time, man, it's fucking days. Those are so much fun.
yeah, the mindset playing back then to now is huge.
It's
I
so much
I,
different.
I feel like I played so much back then, and I I did nothing. Like
Like no goals
my
whatsoever.
RS3 main, I always thought its stats were so good, and nowadays, if I remade it, I could probably do it in like 2 months,
Jeez.
and it's like so. It just sucks.
Yeah.
I was just so inefficient back then. Did nothing.
It's funny when you get these people that like don't play old school, and the reason they don't play is because they don't want to like make a fresh account because their stats are on RS3.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, you were probably like fucking 60 combat. That would literally take a week. Like,
I had an IRL say that to me. So we looked up his stats, and he was like 56 combat with like no member skills, and I'm like,
Jesus Christ,
come
dude.
on, man, you got 2 days worth of work here, maybe, maybe one day.
So bad. Yeah. No, but that's how like I feel like we still see it. Like if you like literally quit and that's how you see the game, you still see it in like in like a child's eyes, you know, where it's like that took so long as a kid, and so you're only
Yeah.
seeing it as like how long it took you as a kid. Yeah. Last topic from Champions Cape was if you had the power to show some love to one piece of content in the game, what would it be? Also, ideas to improve it. So,
Uh, hmm. Mm, I when I was reading this, I made the joke NMZ Slayer, but just because in the past I've abused NMZ too much. Hmm.
So you're just saying getting Slayer XP. So if you had like a task, you could
Yeah,
just do it in Nightmare Zone.
jokingly, but
Yeah.
I would say
I mean, I know
just
fucking Ari would love that too. There's a lot of Nightmare Zone Andes. They'd probably get behind that.
I think I don't like the idea of killing Warcath. Like Slayer has to kill that many Warcath. I think that's where I would, which it seems like we said earlier, they're going in a direction that is like towards that, where you don't have to kill 38k Warcath to be efficient
Yeah.
getting 200 mil Slayer. Because I think that's like my main goal at this point is just doing Slayer, and I don't see myself wanting to shoot 30,000 Warcaths.
What do you think? What do you think about Vorkath? Do you think it's fun?
I think meleeing it's good. I kind of shot myself in the foot with it by zoning
Yeah.
too much.
Hey, you got a permanent. What's your? I know you got 200 mil attack. Let me look you up.
It's like 15.
Yeah, perm rank 15. I mean, shit, dude. I mean, that's kind of the downside. I know Vaddy was talking about that. Getting a perm spot 200 mil, it always cripples you in a way. But it's
Yeah.
like, what do you,
I
It's
kind of
like,
always I did want to get one on the front page, and I
yeah,
was the only one that I could reasonably see myself getting that was a combat.
yeah. It's just what your goal. Like for me, I would love to, get a perm. Like I almost have gotten to the point because I've talked to people that kind of regret going for like perm 200 mil spot, but like I know for a fact I'm gonna hit 200 mil strength here in like a couple months, few months, and
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's kind of like whatever. Eventually, you're gonna hit the cap, man. So
Just it really fucks up my Slayer task list.
yeah,
Just not like you kind of design it around how much melee you're gonna get, and I've got 110 mil melee left, but 170 mil Slayer. So it's
yeah,
my task list. If I'm not maging, it just sucks. And then I got to range all of Warcath, and range is so boring.
I know. I just don't like Vorkath. I hate Vorkath.
Yeah, it's just.
So boring. I don't
And
know
then when I get
how
it, I'm
people.
like, this is just too good not to do.
I know it's the worst, dude. It's like Hydra. Hydra's the worst fucking boss, but it's so good for supplies. It's like it's disgusting how much GP you make from doing Hydra tasks. But I hate it. I can only do like 2 trips and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking skipping this. Like I can't do this. But I'm not efficient, so I do Konar for completionist's sake. I like believe it or not, I actually enjoy getting tasks around the world. Just obviously there's tasks that are just god awful, but like I don't mind going around to different Slayer dungeons and shit and doing inefficient tasks and getting keys and stuff. Kind of like it.
Yeah. I think the other area, going back to the question, the Championscape guy,
Yeah.
would be making solo top kind of viable on an iron. I know, like, that's why Cold won the ironed semi reasonably was supplies. Like, purple sweets just,
Yeah.
like, if you want to do that content, you just can't. Which is like the same, goes back to blood runes and fire pages, whatever they're called, burnt pages.
Yeah.
You just like get these. That's why I just, that's a main problem I had with PVM on Iron was you almost can't, once you get the good items,
Yeah, it's hard to
you force
upkeep.
yourself to not even use them at
Yeah.
places because you just held back. You just
Yep.
can't get these supplies.
That was somewhat of my mentality when I got a scythe is like I just can't even use this without feeling like I'm just blowing. Like, dude, using a scythe, I was just thinking like I was doing Zammy yesterday on stream, and I was just blood barraging my KC to get into the Zammy room, just literally just aggroing everything in the Zammy part, and I was just blood barraging them to get quick 40 KC. People are like, dude, you're wasting so many blood roots. I'm like, bro, like, have you seen how many scythe swing? Like every scythe swing is basically a blood barrage. Like blood barrage is 4 bloods, scythe is 3, and they're both 5 tick. It's like it's like, dude, I have spent like over like I've bought over like really close to 2 million blood runes at this point, and that is so much money. That's like it's like over a bill at this point with the premium price I pay to just get my blood rune buying done quickly. Like it's disgusting how much I need to use, but it goes back to that point where it's like, yeah, you have to like think of like I don't think of like GP issues like because I'm not going for like 200 mil smithing right now or 200 mil construction, but I just have to understand like, okay, I have this weapon, I have the means to afford it. Am I gonna just not afford it just to do it? Because I can clearly afford it, so it just comes down to that point where it's like, am I gonna just enjoy this weapon? Because you either go all in or just none. It's basically use your scythe all the time or never use it because there's no really middle ground. So I just decided I'm just gonna fucking blow all my money on it and I'm just gonna enjoy it. Harm staff's a different story because you can't just buy them. You need to like.
Yeah, and like you're just locked into 200 mil fire making.
Yep. And even that, and even then,
once you
you're
do that,
still
yeah.
limited.
Yeah, like after, are you really gonna do Wintertod post 200 mil like just to use this weapon?
No.
Like, hell no.
Yeah, and then the amount of wrath rune crafting you to do. I like that.
That as well, yeah, true.
I like it, but you can't buy them. Yeah.
I guess there's 2 components of the harm that just sucks.
Yep.
Just no sustain of them.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a lot of. It's just it gets to the point where it's like, it's almost the same thing with a scythe, where it's almost like you're losing time just with the fact of buying blood runes. I think scythe is still better DPS buying blood runes than like a bludgeon, let's say like a nightmare, but using a harm staff is never efficient. Like
Yeah,
because it's just so much time to actually like be able to sustain it. Blood rune is like instantly almost.
I mean, like even Sang sucks, right?
Oh yeah.
Like at some point.
Yeah, I don't even have
It's
a
just-
Sang. So
Oh,
yeah. That's the one item I'm missing from TOB. It's kind of interesting you brought up like soloing TOB. I feel like I was talking to a cold one about it. About that phase where you basically just tick eat for 15 minutes.
yeah.
And I don't know the full mechanics of TOB and how you would like circumvent that. But I was just saying, theoretically, if that wasn't a part of Theater of Blood, would that be better? Like, would that almost be like more enjoyable?
Like I think that's the part that we can't sustain supplies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to tick eat at Soda Sag and other things, but it's like.
Just not the 15-minute.
Yeah. And I honestly, dude, I think that it would be cool. So I'm against scaling with monsters, just in bosses in general. And the reason is because of Nightmare, just how shittily it's scaled with like 80 mans and stuff. I'm just against it at this point with like every piece of content. But if they kept scaling around, because I know they are, they're not just going to get rid of scaling because they don't like it. But
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if TOB actually did scale down to a 1-man. I know it would eliminate the difficulty of it, but I think it would be kind of cool as if, like, obviously it would be a tougher challenge to solo regardless. But if they got rid of that little 15-minute eating phase and made it so you can actually go in and solo TOB at a 1-man scale, I don't know how people think about that. I'm pretty sure people that have completed a solo TOB are just like, no, you just want to get a solo TOB. I don't care about the recognition. There's already a Blood Fury out. Like,
Yeah.
solo TOB is just irrelevant at this point.
The amount of completions with solo when that thing came out,
Yeah.
I feel like multiplied by 100 just made it.
I want to hear what
Just
other
chill.
yeah, I want to hear what other people's thoughts are on that. Like what would you think if they actually scaled TOB down to a 2-man and to a 1-man if you were soloing it? Like would that be
I
cool?
I think it's fine. Like as long as you leave it like the items, it shouldn't buff the amount of items you get.
They've already fucked that thing up in general because
Yeah.
5-mans are just for items in your own name. 5-mans are already like worse because
Yeah, they're so bad
yeah,
compared to three.
yeah.
So it shouldn't be any better than three,
It would like
but
I already know it would be better like soloing would. And I think it would still be cuz I'm pretty sure if they scaled it down to like a 1-man, solos could probably be completed in like 40 minutes, like pretty
okay.
easily.
You think it should be way better?
I mean, it would be way better. And if they made it equal, they would have to do some weird ass scaling that I don't trust Jagex to handle. So I think like soloing would still be extremely difficult, you know?
Do you think it should mimic Cox basically?
I mean, I just feel like okay, so what's the rate of getting a purple in TOB? It's like 1 in 9 or something.
Yeah, it's like nine.
So every 9 solos you do, like 40-minute solos you'd get. Dude, I still think actually that it would be fine if they didn't even touch it. Honestly,
Yeah.
they didn't touch the rates. Actually, it would probably be even faster than 40 minutes. Probably be like more like 35 if they get rid of that random 15
I
minute of.
just I think it'd be nice to well, it would just be more fun, like variation wise,
Yeah.
because Team Tob to me got boring
Yeah, it's
pretty
just
fast. Like making the team also sucked.
yeah, waiting for random people to like go eat dinner.
It also can like get griefed by people.
Yeah.
Like it's a piece of content that relies on people not making a ton of mistakes since
Yeah.
the wipe is so like when someone dies on pillar phase in a trio, then you're just like, ah, man.
I think it would be really cool actually if they scaled it. And even they scaled like a 2-man to a 2-man and just made it so like every team size is sort of balanced, but I go back to the thing where I just don't even want scaling in the first place. I would be more okay with everything just being scaled to a 3-man. So 5-mans would actually be efficient in a way where it's not scaled to a 5-man, it's scaled to a 3-man in a 5-man. I just hate that like if you have more people, as soon as I hate that about Nightmare too. When you have more people, it's just like way worse for
Yeah.
items. It's like so stupid. Just make everything scale exactly the same as the current 3-man is, and I would actually be okay with that more than them scaling it down to a 1-man. But if they're gonna keep scaling, scale it down to a 1-man. That'd be cool.
Are you really against Nightmare
I
ulting?
hate Nightmare scaling. It is so stupid.
So people like telly out, right? Their ults,
Yep.
and it doesn't affect it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that cannot be fixed unless they do some actual like deep game changes, like coding. But the thing that I'm against is that if you do any Nightmare above a 5-man, it's just trash. They've literally made it so you can kill Nightmare in an 80-man team, and it's absolute dog shit to do. We calculated it. It was like 1 in like 70. You would have to do 70,000 80-mans to get a mace in your name. 70,000. Like why? Like why is that even like? Why is that even a thing? You know. The other thing that would be cool for Nightmare is if they buffed elite clues or at least scaled them properly. I know I always say I'm against scaling, but if they're gonna keep scaling, they gotta scale stuff in a different way. So scaling
Is it
elite
like really rare
clues,
right now?
dude, elite clues are like 1 in 180 or 1 in
Ah.
190.
So you think solo should be like fifth of the
Yeah, I think it should be a 5th, and I also feel like they should just be reduced completely. I think if you start if you start a Nightmare, because right now currently the pet scales, so the pet's a 1 in 800 in a solo, but it only will be a 1 in 800 if you started the kill in a solo. If you
Oh,
had
okay.
one person in there Dragon Warhammer spec and leave it, would instantly scale to a 2-man for the rest of it.
That's how it is
So
right now.
yeah. So yeah, it's 1 in 800 in a solo, and it just doubles.
Okay.
or like it goes up by 800 each one. But what would be cool is if they made it so elite clues were 1 in 25 for 5-mans. I know that people are like, no, that's way too crazy common, but that's still not. Saractus is still like literally twice as good for elites. Like that's silly. A mid-game boss compared to like Nightmare. I think elite clue should be 1 in 25 from 5-mans and scale down to a 1 in 5 for solos. It would still take an hour and a half. It's super efficiently an hour and a half to get an elite clue there in a solo. And 1+1ing wouldn't speed that up because if you had a second person in there, it would scale to 1 in 10. So that would end up being like 2 hours for an elite clue. My idea. I think that'd be cool. They also need, I think they need tellies. I think they need untradeable or even potentially tradable Nightmare scrolls, kind of like similar to Keymaster scrolls.
I always thought some quest would just give you a teleport to the city at some point.
Yeah, they're
But
they've just
no,
made
they're
it so
like,
all
we're,
things so
we're
good.
content with a 4-minute run.
Yeah.
Wherever the hell it is.
You actually need to pre-stam. I've needed to pre-stam every single one of my 2,000 kills. Like the amount of stam, I've used 500 stams, man, just a Nightmare. Like, why is that a thing?
That sucks.
Yeah,
I think that run just deters me from even trying it.
it's stupid, dude. The whole thing, Nightmare's just a fucking. It's so bad. And the thing that also bothers me is like, I'm not doing Nightmare for the normal loot. Like the normal loot, just drop tables, dog shit. But they really should have made it so there's like almost a shared. It's almost like Nightmare's going to drop a certain amount of supplies, and then however many people are in it, it just divides it between them all. That's how I felt it should have been. So solos, you actually get a decent amount of stuff because you were in there for 20 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
You know? But no, it's literally like so shittily scaled where you still only get like, 5 sand fuse. Where if you did a 5-man in like 4 minutes, it's still like 5 to 9 sand fuse or whatever it is. I feel like you should have literally gotten like 5 times as many if you did a solo. But I don't have that big of a gripe against that. It's whatever.
Do you go for the Blood Furies to do Nightmare?
No, I've only gotten 2 pickpockets, so I've had 4 Blood Furies total, and I still have my last Blood Fury in my bank, just sitting at like 3k charges, just in case they buff like Onyxes or something to make them use. But yeah, I'm not going back to Vires anytime soon. It's such a waste of time. It's fun to use them though. Yeah. What about you? Do you use the Blood Fury at all?
I've had 2 shards pickpocketing. I've never equipped it. Just because, like,
it's kind of, I don't know.
Don't plan on doing Nightmare. Just,
yeah.
I can't see myself using any of the, like, you have the good reason of 1 billion Saracnus, so the mace makes sense.
Yeah.
But, like, to me, none of the items really
They're
would
so
do anything for me.
mediocre. They're just so average. There's nothing crazy about them at all.
I just see it as a waste of time. It would come down to, like, I don't have anything else to do. Maybe I'll go there.
That's exactly how I felt. Big waste of time. And then I was like, shit, I want to go get a mace. But yeah. I'm so jealous of people that spoon a mace, man. I've been seeing people get maces way too often now on Twitter. I'm just like, God. And Lake just hit 3K. KC still doesn't have a mace.
Hindsight, would you have stayed at Saracnus and not gone for mace? Or how many KC do you have to hit before it's...
I have to hit like 7 times the rate. At this point, now that I know exactly how many elites I need to do, which is like close to 10K, I would literally need to go like 7 times dry for a mace for it to have not been worth it.
Okay.
Like, and there's a lot of macro stuff to that. Like, obviously, I could have just used a bludgeon the whole way, at Sarachnis, but I would just be training strength past 200 mil, and there's no other attack option. I could also use a cudgel, but that's like, fuck. Like, using a cudgel for 500,000 kills is like horrible. I mean, there's also Hosta I could use, but like Scythe, if I wanted to just use a Scythe, I would have to do like 8,000 TOB just to fund the vials of blood that I would need to do all that many. So what would I rather do? Buy a bunch of blood runes my entire
Yeah.
life and do 8,000 TOB, or just do like 8,000 nightmare? Fuck.
I mean, at least with Nightmare, you're like you should get every item
Yeah, like I'm getting.
by then. So,
Yeah, it's cool to get new things.
so I guess at that point, at least you're finishing the boss completely.
Yeah. All right. We got a couple questions from Wheatbeck. He wants. Okay, so did you play Trailblazer?
Yeah, I did.
And did you enjoy it? Did you play the first league as well?
I never played the first league because it there wasn't enough to do
Yeah.
in my eyes. I was like, I don't want to do chambers with shit gear, basically, is what
So
it
what?
came down to. So I was like, I'm not doing this.
So what did they do right over the first league? You obviously didn't play the first league, but like, what was something that was something they did a lot better with the second league, Trailblazer?
Giving everyone run for sure. Like not having to choose the run
Yeah.
perk. Like I know there was a big meme in the first one, like the walking people.
Jeez. Yeah. They
They
just.
just like weren't able to raid, and
I
it was
know.
like
Can't do anything.
so odd. I know Bonerator, he like collected stams through the Jekyll random the
Oh
whole time just to
Jesus.
run around Zaya with stams at the end. It was kind of funny. Other than that, let's see. I don't. They definitely messed up by making the tier 2 relic the teleport one. Like, if you didn't go that, you were basically screwed.
Was that the orb
The
of like
recall
returning? Oh
one.
yeah, recall. That was it. That shit was busted.
Yeah, it's just like seemed too strong.
That
Uh,
I didn't play Trailblazer, but something that kind of it seemed very casual friendly, where you could literally just solo any God Wars with minimal gear, and because of like recall and because of like how fast your weapons are attacking, you don't even need to prayer flick. You just kind of sit there and just do one kill, go to your pool, do one kill, go to your pool.
yeah, I think that was the problem is that it made that part of the game too quick. So
Yeah.
it caused everyone to lose interest because
It was
they're like,
probably
"Oh,
really fun
I've
initially,
just
but yeah.
finished Bandos in 3 hours,
Yeah.
and I've just ran in and DDS spec 4 times and then abused the pool."
Yeah. I was watching Roydy do Thermi when he was doing leagues, and I was just like, it's literally just spec 5 times, go to your pool and
Yep.
repeat. Like, what the fuck? It just seemed very dull in my eyes because I'm like, this is just time based. Like, it's cool to see huge XP splats and shit, and it's cool to see the one tick blowpipe and the 5 Gmall specs in a tick thing. But it just seemed like very dull. Oh, like I feel like I'd get very bored very soon. I would have had to be like a skiller. Were you a skiller, or did you just go for like items?
So my initial plan was to just mess around and get to Tob with some people, and then I think I got really into it like 2 weeks in and was gonna go for the Dragon Trophy, and I was above it for a decent bit, and it got to the point where I was like, do I want to do 1,000 or 2,000 monkey laps and 1,000 brim tickets?
Yikes.
So I was like, nah. So I just logged out. It was it was way more competitive to get Dragon than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Like I thought it was going to be the same as the Twisted League one, where it was like 2 weeks. If you spent 2 weeks going for it, you were going to get it out of I don't know, was it 2 or 3 months?
Yeah,
But
it's
this
two
one,
months.
you almost had to play at least, I'd say like 80% of it to get Dragon.
Jeez. So it was still 1%, right?
Yeah,
What was the deal? Was it just more people were playing it? Or why was it
that,
so
and I
much
think it
different?
was, yeah, I think it was just more people playing, and it was more fun compared to the first one.
Yeah, I know every league that comes out, I haven't played either, but they always look super fun the first like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm always like,
Yep.
ah, man, I should really be doing this. But then it's like 3 weeks in, you're watching streams of people like this last one doing Nightmare or doing TOB, and it just looks very depressing. Where it's like everything you get at this point, if you're not like competing for like Dragon Trophy and stuff, it just looks very pointless.
Yep.
Like everything you get is just gone afterward. People are like, it's just for fun. I'm like, that's exactly my point. That does not look fun to like do all that for nothing.
I think my favorite part of it was going for Infernal though.
Oh yeah,
Like,
did you do Melee Inferno or did
yeah,
you?
I had the melee spec relic.
Nice.
So the Zuck, like getting the Zuck, you could get there using like not a single dose, right?
Yeah,
Because your SGS is just infinite.
yeah.
But the Zuck was like,
That looked tough if you were just using like a
yeah,
ACB.
like I've only did two Tebow capes before.
Yeah,
And so my Zuck experience was like abysmal. And
yeah.
doing the sets, I ended up just camping ACB to do the sets and healers. And ACBing healers was so
Jeez,
odd
yeah. You
to
have to.
me.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I did see that where it's like the melee were all so fun during the waves, and then it's like, God, now we have Zook, just a slow ass like no perks.
Yeah, like going into Zuck with 8 brews, and you're like, well, this should be easy. And then I just die with no supplies left. It's like, man, it was just so Ruby based,
Yeah.
and I was doing no damage. I think it took me 4 Zucks, but getting there was just so fast.
Yeah. That sounds fun getting there.
Like I just sat in the middle of the room praying mage with full bandos on and like rapiering the like nibblers and stuff,
Yeah.
just
I
never hiding.
I heard people could just get fire capes by actually leaving their computer for half an hour.
Yeah.
Like you just sit in the middle of the room and just auto retaliate everything. Like what the fuck? That's awesome. It sounds very RS3 ish. Like just everything becomes just time based. This is like no longer skill. It's just do things. Just do tasks basically. Like I was talking to who I can't even remember who I was talking to, but something about like just God Wars nowadays is just go there, bring your pack yak, just sit there forever. It's like Zammy and RS3, just sit there and just you can literally stay there forever. Doesn't matter. Like no
You like
effort.
run around the room and don't even attack it. You like auto retaliate with the staff. I saw
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
on some vid at one point.
So
There's just no input.
yeah, no, literally, you just sit there and just it's just a hour game. Just put in the hours. I mean, that's you could argue that's everything, but when there's no skill and it's literally just put in time, it's like silly. He also asks, well, he asks a few more things, but I'm curious of this. Any runoff to the main game? People do leagues, especially people on Reddit. They do leagues, and then they're like, they really like a certain aspect of it, and then they want it to run off into the main game. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's like a concern. it changes what they think the game should look like. I know people jokingly said bring the recall orb to the game, but
Can you imagine, dude? How
like
fucked that would
that would
be?
just ruin the game.
Yeah, that would actually be so stupid. I know it's the meme. Well, hopefully. I'm always scared of stackable clues. I hate
Oh yeah.
stackable clues, and there's people seriously advocating for it.
Were you okay with them stacking the caskets?
Uh initially no. I actually wanted them to just I didn't want them to stack. I just wanted them to be like I just wanted you to be able to hold more than one. So they wouldn't be
Okay.
stackable, but you could actually have like, you know, 5 elites or something in your inventory. And it's not like you have to open one before you grab the other one. Remember like Karim's videos where he had those masters, you had to like die in the wilderness to like have them all like ready to open. I don't know if you ever saw that. He had like 30
Oh, I never
caskets
seen that.
just sitting in the wilderness because you couldn't pick up more than one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
hard to even remember a time where you couldn't even hold more than one casket. But yeah,
I do recall that he like had just all of them on individual
yep,
tiles
yep,
and was
right,
just
right north of
death tripping
Edgeville.
them.
Yeah, it's hard to remember a time where you actually couldn't have more caskets than just one. But yeah, that's how it used to be. I didn't like stackable. I thought that was kind of weird that they just stack. But I was okay
Yeah,
with you being able to just hold them like Winter Todd crates where you just have a bunch of them.
just like individual
Yeah.
tiles in your bank.
Yeah.
Take up one each.
But at this point, it's fine. The thing I have always hated, and it doesn't even affect me because I'm not a main, but I hated the update when they made clues come from implings because it's just a buyable clue. And as much as I don't care because I'm not a main, it still bothers me that there's just buyable clues. Like clues was always about there was like the hunt for the clue, and then there was the doing the clue. You know, like now it's just do clues. That's why people have like 85. I'm actually curious. Who's that guy that's rank 1 mediums? What's his name?
No
Shit.
clue.
Yeah. I was just hoping
Like
on the off chance.
on
On the main game.
main high scores.
Yeah, it's some. I could literally just look it up real quick, but yeah. Like he's done like 80,000. I just want to get that number right. But like, imagine doing 80,000 mediums if you didn't have implings. You know. Let's see how many he's done. 98,000. Yeah, I was fucking off. Jesus Christ, look at this. 98,000. He's almost at 100,000 mediums. Imagine doing. I have actually been a fan of non, or basically I want to make implings untradeable. Either
Okay.
make them untradeable, or I know, and it's too late to do that because people have already abused it. But it's like I know, like there is that, but it's like, dude, that should have never been a fucking thing. Like,
I really
that's
hate the
yeah,
basically games of chance that like happened on Twitch. Where it was like, donate me dragon imps, and if my clue is bloodhound,
oh yeah,
get
Casey.
this. I was just like, that's. I feel like that was before all the pay for alting stuff, but that was almost seemed like the start of it for me. It was
Yeah.
just such an advantage
Oh
that
yeah.
he got.
Streamers get a lot of privilege. They get a lot of. If you're
Like a
like,
normal player just could never
oh
have.
yeah, no way.
Like, yeah, he had 5,500, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like I don't personally care. I actually think running um when there's when it's not alting, but it's almost like you're paying somebody for their own help. I actually think it's kind of cool in a way. I need to like see counter arguments against it, but like it's the same thing with the Rev Caves being run by the mafia before. Like I actually thought there was some sort of beauty in that where it's like it's very player ran. It's not like this is just like it was almost like this is the real fucking world, man. Like you want to get shit done, you got to just deal with it. You got to like it's almost like you have to build like good relations in the wilderness or else you're going to get fucking ragged. But it's like I still there's obviously a ton of downsides to that, and the same with like running. But I still feel like there's some value in having that where players can actually offer services to people. But
Are revs
alting,
just
on the
like
other hand,
butchered now?
sorry, revs,
Are revs just like
they're
dead?
yeah, they're people are advocating for buffs to them. Just like the loot, the loot's really shit. People are really people really hate that you have to hop worlds every time if you want to be efficient. Honestly,
Oh, okay.
I used to hate that, but I actually didn't mind it. I did 3 hours of Rev Dragon, like a video of it, and it was actually just really chill. And it's very, very hard to die there. So everything's singles plus. You literally, if you just brought like a Mystic Switch, an Ice Barrage, if anybody ever attacks you, you literally just freeze them, walk under them, or walk away from them, and just log out. Because there's a PJ timer of like 11 seconds where it's like you have time to log out. So it's basically impossible to die there unless you're just stupid or you DC. Like hardcores can literally go there. Just freeze the person that attacks you, run away from them, log out.
Did you do old revs?
Yeah, I actually I was the first Iron Man to complete revs actually.
Oh, okay. I think I did them with you, and you were like really dry on your first weapon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Okay,
30, 36, or almost 37k for a mace.
I
But
do recall that. I think I did do them with you
yeah, it
for the
wasn't.
same time period.
Were you with Ginny? Like, did you go around the time like Ginny
Yeah,
and people in solitary started coming?
yeah.
Dude,
Because
Ginny,
I have like 41k killed.
you're exactly me. Then I have 41k. Did you get all weapons?
I have 3 bows and
You got
no
3 bows and no other
no
things,
mace or
and they were all skulled. I'm assuming.
yeah.
Yeah, you were way drier than me. I say, like, you know, it's still a fucking grind to do 41k revs. Like, that's how many
Yeah.
I did. So, but actual rate wise, I don't think I really went that dry. I don't even, because I did 25k that were unskulled back when
Okay.
sculling wasn't a thing. So
Yeah,
technically, I didn't really go that dry.
I think I was doing them when Ash announced the skull thing, and I think I had 4k maybe at that point.
Okay, yeah, I think I recall you being there. And I remember Ginny, like, it was his first fucking hour of revs. He pulls a crossbow in front of me. I was at like 39k revs at that point, and I'd been there for like 3 months, and I just see his first hour pulls across. I was fucking fuming, dude. Like, it was a prison to me, man. I couldn't do anything else in the game until I got it. It was so bad.
Was it called like 10 mil revs at that point?
15 mil probably. I didn't have to pay anything. I was like one of the founders in a way, not founders, but like just people that were there initially.
I
And
remember I paid 10 mil at one point, and then they just like it was so bad at that point that they never really asked again. And then they increased it to like 20 or 30.
yeah, it's like 30 mil for a time. Then it was
And
like
then I
all of a sudden like
remember,
fucking 200 mil.
yeah, when I was close to the end, it was like 40 mil. And then, yeah, they're like, well, people will pay 200. Let's fucking charge them
Yeah.
200.
It was so,
And I was
dude.
like,
It
oh,
it
jeez.
used to be 15 mil for life, and then
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like
I think
200
that's
mil.
when I paid. That must be the amount I paid.
Yeah, it must have.
It was
So
like pre-skull meta,
you
and
must
they
have
just never really asked me.
come around the time Puggin and
Yeah, I did it with Puggin and Fat Clouds and
okay, I don't.
Travis 42 and
Yeah, because I know Puggin came there with Nasty.
yep. Okay,
Yep.
that's who I knew that got me into it.
See, I was out. I was in there for like 2 months at that point, and that's when like a lot of people started coming. I got Puggin and Nasty into it, and then Nasty became really involved in it, and like yeah, it was fun, but it was very exhausting. I'll just say because it felt like it's just you have to do it at certain hours. You know, you have to fuck your sleep schedule up to do it. You get really annoyed when people start ragging you, or there's like not enough protection, and you're getting like fucked over by other clans. It's just a headache to deal with for 3 months.
Yeah, I remember just doing it with Fat Clouds from like midnight to 8 a.m.
Yeah, you have to.
And we're like, well, you know,
And it's
That's
so
it's just the
good.
time zone.
It's like what you say about Vorkath, where it's so fucking good, but it's like
Yeah.
you want to do other things, but it's too good to pass up, So it felt like all your time needed to be spent there. You're being inefficient. I didn't even
After that, that
farm.
caused like my first burn of this game. I like finished revs or finished with revs. I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not going for mace.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think they made me pay at that point. They're like,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, nah, man. Because especially I feel like when you pay, you're like telling yourself, I'm gonna stay here every waking hour that I'm on this game. And I was like, I can't do that anymore.
It's a horrible lifestyle. That's exactly what I was doing for 3 months. Just my life revolved around just being at revs on good hours and just like if Sparkmax fucking Tribe was out there, I'd have to. I would
You,
just
you're having to watch Spark
yeah,
back and
just
wait
have
till he
like
hovers your world, and you're like, fuck,
yeah,
no, not that 2K.
yeah, just fucking dealing with bullshit like that, and then rot. Like we had this like we were basically fucking cucked to rot at the time because they could just do whatever the fuck they wanted, but we couldn't touch them. Like if we even like back talked them, we were gonna get like fucking kicked.
Yeah, you like write in CC. You're like, this name is this rot before you attack them.
I
Because you're
know.
like you're too scared to attack them.
Dude, it was such a fucking emotional just train wreck being there. Like then you have these people, I don't want to name names really, but you got these Iron Men that would just become these toxic pricks, and then they would get ragged by Rot for just being an asshole, and then they would just come and rag like other Irons that were just innocent. They would just try to fuck everybody over, like because they were just so emotional about it.
Yeah.
And it was just, dude, it was bad. It was like actually seeing that being in revs showed me what pure degeneracy is. Like literally, there was a person. I don't want to go into names and stuff. I don't want to like cause like drama and shit. But like there were literally people that would spend 16 hours a day ragging. And that was their life. 16 hours a day ragging, and they would do it every single day. That was just what they did. They just made other people's lives miserable, and that's how they like did their shit. That's just what their life
It's
was.
wild.
I'm like, holy fuck, like, dude, like how can you upkeep this?
There was like this one PKer that when I was doing it, it's like Loomies or something. Just constantly trying to AGS someone out.
You could probably name so many names of just people, and I just will recognize them because it's just been there for so long. You just have your like player tags on. You just see all these people. You're like, yep, that guy's a fucking rat. That guy's I want to
Yeah,
avoid
that
him.
guy's coming to Crystal my
Yeah,
my revs, man.
just like Jesus Christ, dude. You know what's funny is I actually turned myself into a girl character in RuneScape, and I kid you not, man. This is before I ever streamed. Nobody knew who the fuck I was, but I kid you not. It actually prevented me getting ragged so much because they just simply the fact that I was a girl character. People just assumed there was a chance that I was maybe a girl. And they didn't want to like, fuck up their potential date later. Like literally,
Man.
like I'm not even kidding you. It sounds like cringe as hell, but it's like if you literally were in revs, then I literally like told people like, dude, if you want to not be like ragged as much, just become a girl character.
I know people even had to like change their names at the time
Oh, probably.
because people just knew they were irons.
Yep.
So
I had pretty good relations. I'm pretty good with like I wouldn't say I'm like a people pleaser. Maybe I am, but like I can stay on people's good sides. Like there was very few people I pissed off, and the only people I pissed off was because I was just in the shitty mood, and I was like, "Fuck you." But other than that, if there is somebody that can clearly ruin my experience playing the game, I'm gonna stay on their good side, even if I just fucking hate them. I'm just gonna be like, you know what, I don't want to deal with you.
yeah, I feel like you had to be fake in that whole rev
Oh yeah,
situation.
it's like real life, man. If there's people that just have more power than you just gotta fucking Just
It was also around the time like they banned Olympus people from doing revs. It's
really
like, well, the normies guy kind of went off the deep end or whatever, and he's just like, if you're in Olympus, you're kicked from doing revs.
so interesting. I remember normies.
I still was able to get in because of Nasty, but
Yeah,
like they were just blocking it from anyone else in the clan.
very
I
emotional
thought that
place.
was really weird.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, so many names you bring up where it's like I haven't even heard of them for like over 2 years, and now I'm like, shit, I remember that person. I remember that. Yeah, getting that crossbow that I saw on the ground, that was my final weapon. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen on the ground on RuneScape ever. It was just the most relieving, most beautiful moment I have ever had. It was like leaving prison. Just like get out of jail free card. Just done. It's over. And because it took so long, I had so much ether saved up. Like I was like set for life.
Yeah, I felt like it definitely wasn't balanced. It was just balanced around you couldn't even do it.
Yeah, it was balanced around the thought of you are competing with a bunch of people trying to get your rev kills in, and then they had to try to make that like 2 to 3 mil an hour. But like there was a bunch of risk to it. But yeah, when you have an empty world at 3 a.m. and you're killing the orc and the fucking demon at the like south spot
Yeah.
and the pyre fiend or whatever, you are literally making 10 mil an hour with a crossbow. Like, dude, I had one night I literally got like I think it was like 2 or 3 relics and like 2 or 3 effigies within the span of like 4 hours, and like just a magic seeds and shit. I was just like, dude, this is so fucking busted. And I was using a rune crossbow and I was pulling those like rune crossbow dragon bolt gang or dragonstone bolt gang.
Like my cash stack is still like I'm still using just the cash stack from the statues. And I swear it's been like 2 years.
Yeah, it's disgusting. See, that's one of those things that got nerfed. People that didn't abuse it, like fuck, man, like there was people that really abused revs.
Yeah.
Like they really
Someone
took advantage
someone
of
had
it.
over 100K on an iron, right?
Yeah, easy.
Can't think of his name, but I remember seeing his.
Yeah, like some guy that went like super dry, right? Like just couldn't get something.
No, I think he had everything. He was just like
Oh, he just kept going.
never stopped doing them.
Yeah, probably.
Ah, can't. Yeah.
No, just crazy.
He
It's
had a
just disgusting.
100K loot tab, and I was like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's actually gross. I guess we can move on. Let's see. I want to kind of talk about this. I haven't talked about like I guess hardcore skilling in a Sae Bae Cast in a while. Been talking to a bunch of like PVMers and stuff, but Wheatbig wants us to touch on 4.6 bill and the viability and thought process behind it. So I like talking about, crazy shit such as like 200 mil all in an Ironman because it's just so like crazy
Yeah.
and it's just fun to talk about, I guess. But like, what are your thoughts, I guess, on like, do you ever expect to even get close?
So I think there is like a pathway to it, right? There's
Yeah.
like an efficient.
Yep.
It is possible, and we probably will see it,
Oh yeah. Dids and Higer and Stee and
unless the game like dies. They
they'll
Higer
get it.
did. Steve will probably get it. Um, Me personally, hell no. I always said my account's capped at like 3 bill XP. Like
Yeah.
I
That's like the
can't. There's some
fun.
skills I just can't see myself
Yeah.
doing
3 bills like the
unless it like
fun stopping
changed.
point where it's like you've done like all the fun skills at 200 mil and it's like, all right, let's just fucking burn.
Yeah, like so for me personally, not viable, but like the actual grand scheme of 4.6 is definitely viable, and I think it's only just gonna get faster.
Yep.
Like they definitely, especially with skilling, come out with buffs. I can't even think of really nerfs other than nerfing drop tables that bosses have, and like if they nerf alt slaying, but even that, like hours wise, isn't that compared to the rest.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like that big of a hit.
Yeah, the game's definitely getting easier and easier. And with things such as, because I remember, like, dude, Iron Man first came out, just to get 99 rune crafting was like so crazy
Yeah,
because of
you
all
have to
the
kill like
pure essence.
10k Zora, just get the pure
Yeah.
essence.
And even before, dude, like the few months that was like pre Zora, where like Lelador was killing wyverns for bones and like pure essence 250 noted. Like that is
Now
like
you can just
that.
not even look at your screen and do souls for the same.
Yep, it's really sad. So ZRC's already always bothered me, but like there's just been so many updates that have just very much like sped up the game, and prayer just in one update was cut in half time wise. Just in an
True.
update
Yeah,
cut in
that
half. It's
that
crazy.
is. I mean, same with herb. It's like
Yeah.
contracts
Yep.
just destroyed that skill.
I always thought or the farming contracts should never have been skippable. That would have been like balanced in my
Oh yeah,
opinion. The whole skipping thing made it so it was just so busted. If there was no way to skip and if you didn't have a seed, you're just go get the seed somehow. That would have been a lot more balanced. And if you got a tree, you just had to suck it up and do the tree. And I feel like
yeah,
it almost would have been more enjoyable for people so they're not just fucking like whipped to doing contracts every fucking 80 minutes. Like it would have actually been kind of a little bit more of a enjoyable thing for people. Just if you got a redwood tree, you're like, all right, that's cool. I don't have to deal with the contract for 3 days and it's still efficient, because there's no way to skip it.
yeah. Like being forced. I mean, on the 4.6 mentality, right? Like every time you're playing, you're basically forced to be doing these constantly
Yep.
because herb just falls so far behind if you want to finish them at the
Yeah.
right times.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's a big part of that I don't like. It's like every time I'm logged in, I gotta be vigilant that my herbs and contracts are done.
Yep.
If I end bird run, like if I'm not doing this, then my efficiency's out the window,
Yep.
regardless of what activity I'm doing.
It's crazy how much like, cause I'm not efficient. I just do the
Same.
goals I want, but like the amount of supplies I'm gonna get from like the goals I have, like doing Sarachnis, it literally funds 200 mil prayer and 200 mil crafting, like easy, like just in the bag. And herb lore, like I'll get so many seeds and so many like, and smithing will be like crazy with how many ores I'm getting. Like just, but yeah, if you're going at an efficient pace, not gonna take like 30 years to get 200 mil all. It's like there's a lot of fucking upkeep.
Yep. It's just like a whole different game.
Yeah.
Like personally, I like to just do whatever I want. Like there'll be a month I'm just gonna go for pets. Month I'll do solo raids, and month I'll skill. I just am constantly like swapping what I'm doing. Just that's how I like keep logging into the game, I guess.
Yeah. You got to keep yourself like engaged. I've been just since Nightmare, just been so. I used to be able to just log into this game like hungry to play every morning, and then Nightmare just burnt me the fuck out, and now it's just like It's like chores. It's like logging in to do chores for the last half a year. It's not fun.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That boss sucks.
And I can definitely see how Ironmen that are not extremely passionate could really burn out of skilling when they just feel like it just becomes chores. Like it's fun to compete, and I've like experienced it firsthand. Not at like the highest level, but just like it's really fun to compete in RuneScape. I'm a pretty competitive player. Like just naturally, not like on the fucking highest end of like competition where it's like just you know do 500 fucking EHP months and shit. But like I still have that competition in me, and but as soon as that competition dries out and you are just doing these dailies nonstop for IRL years on end, just like you can definitely feel like the game is just a chore. And once you feel that, it's like shit, you got to change things up or you're going to burn out big.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest like motivation comes when there's like in-house competitions in like I definitely would not be playing this game if I didn't join Olympus and didn't have, like-minded people playing with me. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, no, you need a community. Like streaming itself, like I would
Yeah.
being streaming and being on Twitter and even being in Olympus myself, like seeing people go really ham on the game, like it's just good thing this game is like a multiplayer online game where it's just you see people grinding with you and it's like all right, this feels like you're a part of something, it's like fun and you get to see other people's progress and show off your progress and stuff. It's just cool.
Like stuff like bingos are just massive.
Yeah, I've never actually really. I mean, I always have my own goals when bingos happen, PVM bingos or skilling bingos. I don't feel like I've ever truly experienced the fun of bingos because I've always just told myself, "Nah, I want to do my own thing." But like, are you a?
Personally, I am not a fan of like RNG bingos.
Yeah, those are
I'm a
bad.
fan of your team puts in the most hours, you will win. Like your team plans the most and performs the best. They're like RNG bingos where you like your team could have done 3 times more hours and lost. It's like wild to me.
Yeah,
Like that would just tilt me heavily.
solitary bingos were pretty awful. I did like. I remember I was going for a sire tile, and I went like this was in between me going 871 dry for an unsired. I went like 650 or something during that bingo with nothing. I'm like, fuck this, dude. Like, this is such a waste of time. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even want to do sire, but I wanted to help out my team. It's just like awful, dude. So,
I know like with our bingos, there's a lot of variety that people can do. And when you sign up, you kind of most people will state what they want to do prior to it, and the captains will draft around that. So if you wanted to slay the whole time, you're not going to be forced for the whole comp to go do something you don't want to do.
yeah.
And in the past too, we introduced like a dupe tile. So you can transform any of the current tiles and like double it.
Okay.
So if your team has a bunch of people that want to do the same thing, then they're able to the entire bingo.
Interesting.
I just think the biggest thing is like it gets people involved in the community and like in the clan.
Yeah. I feel like those drafts, like, I feel like drafting gets a lot of excitement. Those are the one big thing I love about bingos is just those everyone
Yeah,
meets up in a
draft is
stream,
sick.
does the draft. Yeah. Like that's what really makes it really fun. If it was just this, I don't know. Like that's what makes it feel like the community comes together and then boom, bingo starts off. Let's go. And they need to be semi short. I feel like week to 10 days are like perfect. I feel like going
Yeah,
any
we do
further.
we do 10 days because we start on Friday. So it gives even people that work, it gives them 2 weekends worth of
Yeah.
bingo,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
good.
it's kind of the middle ground. Like the first bingo was I don't know if I think it was a month, and that was hell.
Yeah.
The second bingo, I think we went down to 3 weeks, and even that seemed too long. And then I think we have just adapted the 10-day since then,
Yeah, I think
and
10
we
days like
found the most
perfect.
success. Like even by the end of the 10-day, people are starting to get like,
Antsy, just like
I've
let's
been
be done.
playing a lot, maybe too much. I'm ready for this to be over.
So, what are your goals in the game? Like what's your like what do you see yourself in a couple years? Like what are your goals for the like future as in years from now? Like what do you want to see your account do?
Um, I kind of want to just go for tuna mill Slayer while like getting the pets that are Slayer based.
Okay.
And optimistically, I would like to do Vorkath the whole way,
Easier
even though I
said than done,
don't,
yeah.
even though I don't care about hitting 4.6.
Yeah, you still want to play with that kind of efficient mindset.
Yeah.
So you saying you're going for all boss, like so you would make your Slayer like task list like very boss friendly, where it's like if you get a boss task, you'll do it, and like even though
Yeah,
it's not
that's what it is
efficient.
right now.
Do you have any
Like I
Slayer boss
do,
pets right now, or like even KQ or something?
I mean, I have like Kraken, Smoke Devil. I don't know what's considered a.
I guess those are actual Slayer
If I
pets. I'm
if I
just
seen the
thinking of like,
list,
yeah.
I
Oh,
have
just
I have 18 pets, and I'd say some of them are.
okay.
But like I do DKs, and I found out the other day that like DKs suck. Because I plan on doing redwoods to 200 mil woodcut.
Yeah,
So technically, you only need 40 like axes
yeah,
for the whole thing, and after 40 axes, DKs are awful. But I'm gonna continue to do them till pet, just because
yeah.
I kind of enjoy them.
And it's per air XP. It's not efficient, but it's like
Yeah.
still fun getting.
So that's kind of my play style I think will be. Just try and do constantly as much as possible. I I have like in this last bingo, I had a lot of herbs but no secondaries, so I wasn't able to use any of it.
Mm,
So I want to at least collect all the secondaries for the next bingo. I think that's like a short-term goal,
yeah,
and one day use all of my herb seeds. I've never seen them at zero.
yeah. Okay,
And I,
so
I guess you use twice as many as you like net doing contracts. So if you like keep up on it, then you can get rid of them.
yeah. So I have another question. We're finishing off here, but I want to ask you this: like, who are, I guess, players that you look up to? Like, who? Because I know you say that if you weren't in an Olympus, you probably wouldn't be playing as much, and like, what keeps you? Like, who are the players that really motivate you?
I'd say initially, I really liked Lelador's videos that he made, and then like a combination of Lelador and DVS are what got me to maybe try to play a little differently than how casually I was playing. Nowadays, uh, I like respect players that can play a ton, like Wukek. I
That
think
guy's a beast.
Wukek is a beast. I would love to hear him on a Sae Bae Cast.
Yeah, I'll have to get him on.
Um, Players like Munt, he's
Who's
kind of
Munt?
like
Explain
he's
him. Who's he?
4.6 player, but plans on doing it over 20 years,
Healthiest
which
option.
I think is I think he is funny. He like will play like he's going for 4.6, but then constantly burn out. Um, that's probably it. Just like people that can really game
Yeah.
and play super efficiently, I'd say I look up to and try to change my play style a little towards, but still stay in line with my own goals.
So, as a leader of Olympus, would you like to, I don't know, give either a shout out to the clan or gives a reason why? Because like one thing I got on Twitter, I never actually got to this, but somebody asked basically like any advice for someone who is a couple hundred hours into an iron account and aspires to join the high level iron community. This is asked by Mesla RS. Because there are players out there that, you know, really do aspire. Because I was one of them. I remember watching, Lelador rambles and other people's rambles and wanting to be. I remember watching Texas podcasts and being like, wow, these guys are like fucking crazy. But
Yeah.
it was engaging. Like, what would you say to people that want to join that? And what do you think Olympus brings as just, because you're a leader? Like, what would you, I don't know, what
I
are your
just think
thoughts?
it gives a great community to be with people that are doing that. And we like to be ranked in here, like you have to be maxed, right?
Yeah.
But we give clan friend to anyone who's aspiring to play efficiently and wants to, learn and be with a community that they can kind of grow with. So, and as for that, I would say you kind of just obviously this game you can only play so efficient. You just got to throw hours at it, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say staying consistent. You make more progress just staying logged in. Just the more you're logged in, the better. Try to be as efficient as possible while you are logged in. It's the best way to get as far as you can. But yeah, I kind of implore everyone, if you're maxed iron or anyone aspiring to wants to be around people that play efficiently and join events like bingo to apply. I don't think they'll really regret it.
Yeah. And I remember when I wasn't really part of a high clan, like Olympus does allow basically anybody that's aspiring, just like you just said, to get into the clan even if you're not going to be ranked, you can still be a participant and like, hang out. And yeah, I know there are people that like listen to this and probably like low level at the moment but do want to like, like I don't know, you have a passion for the game and you want to get to like
Yeah.
that higher point, and so that's like a good thing. And yeah, like I always welcome it. I love it when people, you know, take the game to the next level. As there could be boomers saying, "Oh, don't fucking play this game," but I love it. I love it when people, you know, see the game as more than just a game and actually have involvement and passion for it and want the best for it. And so yeah, there's definitely that in Olympus that I've seen. And there's other clans as well. But I would say the big thing is like joining a clan for those people. That's my answer to that.
Yeah, and like we let Smileys into bingo. So it's a really good like almost mentoring thing, right? Because
Yeah.
every team's going to have a captain that knows what they're doing and a bunch of great players. So it's really like even if you're a really low pick because your account isn't too far along or whatever, you can still learn a lot and
And you can prove
kind of
yourself.
be a part of something fun.
Well, C7. Um, do you have any other little topics or something you would like to touch on? Because we didn't get through everything, but I think we got through the bulk of like the good stuff. But do you have anything
Yeah.
that?
I thought we went through a lot of good stuff and probably probably a good state.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure, man, having you on. It was nice to kind of get to know you a little bit more because I've known who you are for
Yeah,
years, but like never got to like really talk and get into like who you are and stuff. So
sure. Yeah, it was great being on.
yeah, it was a pleasure, man. Thank you very much. Next week, guys, don't have anyone set, but I do have a few potentials we can get on the Sae Bae Cast, and I will have C7's Twitter. And do you have any other links I'd like to or that you'd want me to put in?
You could plug Olympus.
Okay, I'll plug Olympus Discord, and your Twitter. Anything else? Do you have any other like social medias or anything?
No, that's
Okay.
that's good.
Okay. Well, we'll put that in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And yeah, we'll look forward to the next week's Sae Bae Cast. So thank you again, Cancer7. And it was a pleasure, man.
Yep.
All right. Take it easy, guys.